for handing over the marathon to me. Good afternoon once again to parents who are listening to us on childcare. We are here once again. Last week we talked about parents being proactive. I believe that we are trying our best. There is no perfect parent in this world. We all are trying to get the children that we want to raise in the near future. I hope you are doing well, and congratulations to every parent listening to us. Someday we shall beat our chest and be proud of our children. Today we are going to talk about child communication. Parenting is all about communication. If not entirely, it is about 80 to 90% right. Positive two-way communication with our children helps in building their self-esteem. This means that if you are not careful with the way you communicate with your child, you are going to jeopardize the self-esteem of that child, which is very essential in the life of every individual. We have to know how to talk to them even when they make mistakes. When they do things wrong, we should try as much as possible to separate their behaviors from their personalities. For instance, your child has scribbled on the wall. Instead of you telling the child, you are such a naughty child, you can easily say that this behavior is a naughty behavior. That way you are telling the child that it is easy to separate your personality from the behavior. But when you tell the child, you are such a naughty child, you are telling the child that she is part of that behavior, and so it will be difficult for the child to separate herself or himself from that behavior. Yes, we should also try to prove to them that we love them. We shouldn't assume that they know. Tell them you love them. Tell them I love you. Whenever they do things wrong, whenever they do things right, we should try to prove to them that we love them. Even when we are correcting them, we should show them that we love them, because that is what they are building on for the future. Yes, and we should also try to praise their efforts, not the results. You could see that some children are trying so hard to get a result, but the efforts that they are putting in to get the result is what you should look at. The moment they try to put in effort to reach a result, it means that they are poised to get that result, just that they are not able to make it to that point. Yes, and so as parents, we should always try to communicate well with our children, irrespective of whatever.
Mom, the way Frank is looking at you, have you gotten somebody pregnant?
No, please.
Because he's so attentive, and the way he's nodding his head and
he's definitely going to be a parent, and so he needs
very
it.
soon. Yeah.
Yes, a child's ability to manage stress, to manage to control his temper, or all those things depends on how we talk to them or we raise them up today. If we don't help them to manage those things, they will grow up to be better children. But I don't believe that anybody would want his or her child to be better. Now, let me give you an instance. A teacher once had in her classroom, a student in her classroom told her colleagues that she was going to commit suicide. Then the friends, trying to prevent that situation, reported the case to their teacher. So when the case was reported to the teacher took it up and invited the girl and asked the girl why she wanted to do that. This girl was bold enough to tell the teacher that her father once told her that she is useless. Yes. You see, if I finish the scenario, you can tell that the father didn't actually mean she was useless. So the teacher invited the father and told the father, you need to be careful of the things that you tell your child, because it is getting into her. You know, when they are growing, they also develop emotions and so many things. And so we need to be very careful on how we interact with them. So the teacher was invited, and the parent was invited, and was even surprised as how the child took it to that extent. The father only meant that when she closes from school, she doesn't help the father in anything. And so in Twi we will say, oh ma was so mommy and faswo. But the child took it to the next level, thinking that the father doesn't love her at all. and so the father called her a useless child. So the teacher probed deep and then found out that this girl wasn't living with her mother. That already was affecting the child. You know, the girl child always feels like getting closer to the mother, but the girl child was far away from the mother, being closer to the father, and was also receiving certain comments from the father which were not helping her grow. You see, so as parents growing up our children or guiding our children, we should always try to help them, protect them, and communicate to them in a way that when they grow, the things that we say about them will encourage and motivate them. I am a typical example. Somebody duped my father a huge sum of money when he worked with him. So my father called me and told me that I want to give you a task, and I know that you are the only person who can do this for me. Even though I couldn't do that task, but when he said that to me, I got encouraged and didn't want to I don't know the right. Very good. I didn't want to disappoint him, and I also wanted to prove to him that the trust he has for me is right. You see, so I took that upon myself. He told me to go to Kumasi and gave me the bank account of this person. Go to the various banks in Kumasi for that bank, so that I tell them to block his account, so that he couldn't withdraw money from the account until he's able to retrieve this person and then get his money back. So you see, the things that we say, even as adults, if you dress up and you go out and people see you and praise, hey, today you look beautiful, it makes your whole day.
Yes, because it builds your confidence.
Yes,
level.
It makes your whole day. But when somebody sees you and tells, what are you wearing today? If you are not careful, it also destroys your day. Yes, and so we need to be careful as parents on the words or the comments or the things that we say to our children, because it is building them up. Those things are building our children up. They go so deep into them. Let's give them positive remarks. Oh, you are such a good girl. You did this so well.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
When we tell them that, even when they can't, they try to do it, because they know that their parents believe and trust in them. And so they want to do something that will make their parents proud. But when we give them the negatives all the time, we dump their spirit. Yes, and when it happens that way, it doesn't bring out their self-esteem. We always downplay them. It also doesn't build their self-concept. When we say self-concept, is how an individual sees himself and how he feels that he is placed in a family or a community. An individual who is always blamed, who is always judged, who is always giving negative comments will definitely grow up with a negative self-concept. And so as parents, we should all try as much as possible to stay on the negative things when it comes to the communication of our children. Even sometimes when our children are talking to us, you see us moving and then they will be talking. We are teaching them how they want us to treat us. If my child is talking to me and I give my child my back, definitely I'm telling that child that there is nothing with there is nothing wrong with it. And so if you do that to me, it's okay. But when you go to the normal senses, it is totally wrong. And so parents should set up a clean and then a good communication patterns, because as and when we do that, we are setting up and then giving them a good future that when they practice in the nearby future, is really going to help them and then bring them out as the kind of person we expect or the kind of person that we want them to be. So Nana, today I'm going to be brief. I don't know if I've actually been brief, but this is what I want parents to learn.
Thank you very much, Mommy. I have really learned from today's lesson, because